Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to bonus weather video number 3 for this week. And again, the idea comes from one of my subscribers that wanted to hear some weather myths and things that maybe a lot of people think are true, but aren't necessarily. But I am going to end with one that you might think is a myth, and in a lot of cases is not. So we'll give some credence to those old wives' tales, if you will. All right, so let's go on ahead here and take a look at some of these. Actually came up with quite a few, and I want to give credit to the National Weather Service. They have a nice page addressing this, and so a lot of the ideas and content here I have stolen from them, but they were certainly things I was familiar with. So, myth number 1. Highway and interstate overpasses are safe shelters against a tornado. Wrong. Overpasses can actually concentrate winds, funnel them, and make them stronger, no pun intended on the funnel. If you're above ground in a tornado, period, it is extremely dangerous. And so just because there's one example that got a lot of screen time several years ago of somebody surviving that does not mean that is the optimal thing to do. So scratch that from your to-do list. All right, myth number 2, low pressure in tornadoes causes buildings to explode. It turns out that your house is not that airtight, so the pressure outside is just about the same as it is inside. In fact, if you have a home barometer and you took it outside, you wouldn't notice any change at all, okay? So it is the strong winds blowing against exterior walls that actually cause the damage, and that's why the recommendation is always to get as far away from the exterior walls as you can and find that small room in the interior of your house, or better yet, a basement, to protect yourself. Myth number 3, thunderstorms and tornadoes always move from west to east. Wrong. They may do that more than any other direction, but in theory, they can come from any direction and they can change speed and direction quickly. And you might remember one of the most famous storm chasers a few years ago, and if anybody knew what he was doing, it was him, and he actually lost his life because of the erratic movement of a very, very strong tornado. So they can be very, very unpredictable in both their track and their speed. Myth number 4, it's not raining here and skies above me are clear, so I'm safe from lightning. Not necessarily. Bolts from the blue can occur 10 to 15 miles from a thunderstorm. If you're close enough to a storm to hear thunder, you are close enough to be struck. Now, how many of us have been outdoors and, we have things to do, places to go, people to see, and we just, walk to our car or whatever, and the thing about it is 99.9% of the time, everything works out just fine. But this is one of those what I call low probability, high impact events where if you do get struck, then you could be seriously injured or you could even lose your life, okay? And so this is why if you're on a golf course, let's say, if you hear thunder, then in theory you are close enough to get hit by the next bolt of lightning, even if the sun's out where you happen to be located. So just keep that in mind. If you want to roll the dice and play Russian roulette, you're going to win the vast majority of the time. But just keep in mind that that one time could change your life forever or even end it. All right, myth number 5. I am inside my house, so I am safe from lightning. Not necessarily. Telephone lines, cords, plumbing, even metal window and door frames are all conductors, and so it is recommended that you stay away from them. Do not take showers or baths and avoid doors and windows. That gives you the best bet of being protected from lightning. Myth number 6. Since light travels much faster than sound, each second between seeing lightning and hearing thunder represents a mile. That is not true. Light travels 186,000 miles in 1 second, while sound travels 1 mile in 5 seconds. So each 5 seconds between lightning and thunder represents 1 mile. So 1,000, 2, 1,000, you get to 5, 1,000, that's a mile. If you get to 10, 1,000, it's 2 miles, 15, 1,000, 3 miles. Okay, myth number 7. Large and heavy vehicles such as SUVs and pickups are safe to drive through floodwaters. Wrong. 2 feet of water can float virtually any vehicle, and if the water is moving quickly, any vehicle can be swept away very, very fast. Myth number 8. Flash floods only occur along flowing streams. Wrong. Flash floods can occur in dry creek or riverbeds as well as urban areas where the ground is impervious. If you think about it, there aren't, in a big city like New York, there's not a lot of grass or mud or anything like that in the downtown areas. So if you dump 2 or 3 inches of rain, where's it going to go? It's certainly not going to soak into the ground. And so flash flooding can happen very, very easily in an urban area. Now, myth number 9, or is it? Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. Red sky at night, sailors delight. This can actually be true, okay? It all depends on whether or not the clouds you're seeing are associated with a storm or whether or not they're harmless clouds. But it turns out that shorter wavelengths, and blue light is one of the shorter wavelengths, red light is one of the longer ones in the visible spectrum, that shorter wavelength, the more that light gets scattered. And so when the sun basically goes through the atmosphere, all of the blue light is scattered more than the red light, and that's why the sky appears blue, okay? However, you're going to see that when the sun is at the horizon, it's a much, much different effect. So let's take a look at this here. Here's the ground. Now, in the upper atmosphere, the air is less dense. There are less molecules up there. And then near the ground, it is more dense, okay? Gravity is pulling the air toward the surface, and so the densest air is right near the ground. Here's our little human being here. And when the sun is directly overhead, it is passing through that less dense air and then eventually makes its way through the more dense air. But again, since blue light is scattered more than red light, the sky appears blue. But when the sun is at the horizon, everything it goes through is dense air, okay? It doesn't go through the less dense air at all. And so the blue light is scattered out completely, and the only thing left is the red light, okay? So now let's look at this from a cross-section view, if you will. Here's our human being standing on the ground, and let's say that west is to the left and east is to the right. So when the sun comes up in the morning in the eastern sky, and it is basically going to produce red or orange light, okay? Then what happens is the clouds are illuminated in the western sky, orange or red or yellow or something like that. Since weather systems typically move from west to east, that means that those clouds are moving toward you in most cases, and if they're associated with a storm system, that storm system is moving your way. However, when the sun sets in the western part of the sky, it's going to illuminate clouds in the eastern part of the sky. And since, again, weather systems move from west to east, that means that that storm system, or that cloud at least, is moving away from you more times than not. And so as a result, that's a sailor's delight. The storm's moving away, whereas in the first case, the storm is coming at them and the sailor is taking warning. So there is some scientific backing for that particular saying. All right, I hope you found that interesting. There are the credits, and that was bonus weather video number 3 for this week. The next daily update will be coming up on Monday, and the next bonus video coming up on Monday as well. And just to remind all of you, my trip to Normandy with the brass band down here is coming up very quickly. We actually leave from Charlotte the afternoon of, I believe it's Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday, June 4th, or Tuesday, June 4th, whatever June 4th is. So that's only 2 weeks from the early part of next week, and I'm obviously looking forward to that trip, and we'll be sharing as much of my experience there as I can with all of you. All right, folks, that's it for now. You have a great Friday evening, an even better weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday. See ya.